the other way because I cannot read things this way. Hi guys.
Hey everyone.
Hi guys. Hold on. This was a dumb angle for me to put this on. Okay. Hi. Whoa. You know what, Insta?
No, it looks good. It looks good.
Hopefully let's do that. Okay. Hi guys. Who we got in the room so far? We have Raja. We have James. Theo. I like the name Theo. Hi Theo Blackman. Stefan. Oh y'all creeping in. Hey. Go Raps, go. I don't know what part of the world y'all from, but you got it. You guys too. Okay, so guys. Hi.
Hey everyone.
Welcome back. Hey. Today we're going to talk about potential.
Self-love.
And self-love. And we might have a little sexy talk too.
Oh, hey.
Might. Depends on how far we get. So let's start.
Yes, let's get started. The reason that I wanted to talk to you guys about this.
One of those 5 o'clock where y'all at right now. Cheers to us.
There's this real push. I would probably say, and Nicole, tell me if you agree or disagree with this. There's a real push for self-love for women. To stand up for yourself, to be brave, to not take shit from anyone, and this really like empowerment and self-love, which I think is very necessary to have. And not just self-love for women, but self-love for men too. There's no real movement for that. We're on this like, happy wife, happy life. But where do the guys fit into that? And then how are they picking based on that?
Exactly.
Where we can get lost in gender roles and this new age of dating and this new age of self-love, and what does that mean? So I read something the other day. It says they don't have self-love, have you out here 50 and single with a cat, because there's a huge difference between self-love and self-protection.
Exactly.
So you want to make sure that it is really self-love. And what does that mean? And that's something that you always say, Nicole, when it comes to, I guess, self-love or anything. Like, be kind to yourself. Be good to you. Mm-hmm. Your own responsibility of being kind to yourself allows other people to be kind to you as well.
You have to teach people how you want to be treated.
Absolutely. And so you don't want to get so caught up in self-love that you're now on
And said we took long to get on today.
Who said that?
And Kit.
Oh, sorry guys.
We're a little behind, but we're here now.
We had a call that was
I missed you.
Oh, thank you.
You're sweet.
So what does self-love mean versus self-protection? So that is something, because we can't be so in the depths of self-love that it crosses self-protection, and now you're not letting anyone in because you think it's, you want it in the way of protecting yourself.
You're sabotaging yourself.
Mm-hmm. And you don't want to do that. I feel like...
And you don't want to sabotage yourself by not allowing yourself to find love.
Yeah, and then I think it's really also too goes back to how you're feeling about yourself and how other people are going to be treating you, because I feel like oftentimes people do want to put themselves out there, and then the second they do, it doesn't turn out the way they thought. So now they're back in protection mode because, like, I tried and it didn't work. But unfortunately,
they get scared.
Sometimes you have to just throw yourself out there and keep going.
So what advice do we have for the runner?
To go back, look within.
Yeah. Like, so when we say runner, we mean the person that just, when it seems like it might, they run away.
Yeah, because they don't want the commitment of that.
Yeah, because they're fearful of the result.
Well, that too, and which leads us back to our other part of the conversation of potential.
Yeah.
If someone is like, what happens in that respect when two people are both reluctant,
Yeah.
but still are putting themselves out there, and then you end up in that situation where just when we're gonna get close, you take off. Well, that person, maybe there was some red flags along the way, because typically people are just not running for no reason. I feel like it's really important for men and women to listen to the signs of what someone's sharing with you right off the bat, so that you can understand where they're coming from. Because like, there's a difference between potential and red flag.
Exactly.
Right? Somebody that is in the midst of pulling themselves out of something, and you could see their potential, that they're going to be just fine, and they do want something serious, and they are showing that. Because talking about something, there's nothing to that. It's just talking.
It's just talking.
You want to see action. And that is going to be through their efforts. They want to spend time with you, they want to speak to you, and they want to get to know you.
Exactly.
And it's not just about, see, I don't think that there is a rule when you're supposed to sleep with someone or not.
No,
like, I feel like if you have a connection with someone and you like them and they like you, then it doesn't matter if you've made them wait 3 months for it, 3 dates, or 3 hours. If they like you, they like you.
Yeah.
I guess the downside.
I think there are some men, though, that do have a mind thing about a lady letting them in that quickly.
It is.
There
true.
are some men that will.
And that's the downside.
Yeah.
No matter what, there's 2 sides to everything. So
Yeah.
yes, you can sleep with someone on day 1 or not. It's really about that person. Exactly.
Yeah.
And likability too.
Yeah.
I have to want to keep hanging out with you. And whether I make you wait for it or not, that's always gonna, like, your personality is key.
Exactly.
And that, you know, which also leads us to still talking about potential, but really about getting to know someone. Because I feel like, especially nowadays when most daters are online dating, we have fixed our minds to believe the photo and the words in hopes that that person is who they say they are and is honest. But no matter what, you can't fall in love with the paper of like, oh, he's this tall, she's this body type, she's this, he
went to this university.
Yeah,
she went to, like, just
the people on paper. It's just, there was like a guideline of like, okay, but who the person really is on the inside is going to affect, you know, getting smashed and dashed, getting ghosted, all of those things. And I think because it's so hard to know yourself as a dater, like I'm a matchmaker, and so is she.
Yeah.
And we have been for 20 years. So I'm always going to be pro matchmaking.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the one thing that I would have to say that I love best about the matchmaking process is the feedback.
Yeah.
Because
so
then you get to hear what a bunch of people are saying about this one person, so that you can see them as a dater. The people that know and love you, they don't know you as a dater because they're not going on dates with you.
Exactly.
They know you as sister, brother, cousin, you know, whoever you are to them, coworker, whoever, and it's always going to be in your own version.
Exactly.
Which is, I want you actually to read that quote, because that was really what sparked this whole thing. I had sent it to you the other day about your own eyes and your own perception and what you see to be real and to be true.
Yeah.
That.
Okay. So it says, people see what they want to see, so they can say what they want to say to confirm what they already believe. Does that make sense to you?
we tell ourselves a story.
All kinds of stuff.
Yeah, whatever
All
we
kinds
want
of
it to
stuff.
be, whether
Yeah.
that's going to be good for us or not. And then, you know, it's like, I'm never
And then
gonna,
be shocked by the outcome.
I'm never going to find anyone.
Yeah.
I'm not good enough. Nobody wants me. And now look, everybody I'm dating is confirming that. So I'm right.
Yeah, everybody sucks. Like, I can't find a good girl. I can't find a good guy.
Yeah.
Which is, well, keep telling yourself that and you won't.
Yeah. That is
Just
the first advice we would give any new client or anybody that we're dealing with when they are searching for love and they're really serious about finding it, is the belief that you are going to find it and it's going to be yours. Everybody that we've seen that figured they really wanted this to happen, but it's never going to work out as an overall attitude.
Yeah.
Their journey's painful.
Yes.
It's uncomfortable because they already made up in their minds that it wasn't going to work, even though they wanted it so bad.
Yeah, they wanted it so bad, but then they just sabotaged it.
Your intention has to match your results. So like, yeah, if I want to lose weight, and go to the gym, and I have to make sure that I'm eating right and I am going to the gym and I'm not sabotaging myself and eating unhealthy food and then be like, oh, going to the gym is never going to work. Well, I'm not working that hard at it.
I'm not working.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to.
Right.
Exactly.
I'm not being kind to myself. And there's so many levels of that. And even too, we were talking about also men allowing certain women into their own space too. We're always talking about women and knowing signs and looking for a type and all of that. But what about men? I'm sure there's been many men that have met women that saw, like, you seem attractive, you have your own place, or it seems like you're going on good. And then we start seeing each other a little bit. I let you come over, and then everything gets completely unraveled. So both men and women need to understand, okay, who am I welcoming into my bedroom?
Yes.
And what are the results going to be about that? If women have self-respect for themselves, then men have to have some self-respect for themselves as well.
Exactly.
Everybody's going to go through different times in their life where maybe you were with someone for a very long time and then you broke up and you're going to want to go balls to the wall for a little while and like all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But just like on a, I'm single and I'm searching for someone, what does that mean?
Exactly.
You know, what type of person is going to be satisfying to you? And we talked about this last week, and we'll probably always talk about it, that there's no such thing as a type.
No.
The type.
We're gonna beat that into your head.
The type of person that you are looking for is always going to be the person who treats you well, cares about you, and wants to get to know you, and you can fit into their real life. Like, it's so basic. And then we make things so complicated by picking up stuff that we shouldn't and believing it to be true.
And then also, I think we also make it complicated by just playing too many games. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, I think that there's I get a little amount of game playing. I get a little amount of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that when it becomes excessive, you just are blocking yourself.
Well, I
You're
think
sabotaging yourself.
Well, exactly, because I think it's
and
like,
women do it a lot.
It's so much deeper and darker too than just the surface, right?
Yeah.
Once somebody knows that they can disrespect you and you're gonna take it, even if you're gonna like create some fuss and there's gonna be like maybe, you know, a little day or two that we don't talk or whatever the case is, that person, when you allow them to continue to treat you, they know it.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, they don't know they're being disrespectful and you're taking it. They know it. So if somebody you know is willing to take advantage of you, and you're not going to do anything about it, it just sets the tone for this very uncomfortable ride for both people.
What's to come.
Right. We already know, like, I already told you I'm not looking for anything serious. So if you keep allowing me to come over and you keep letting me, then why would
I'm going to keep doing
I'm going to keep doing it. And it's just so disrespectful because that person knows how much you like them.
Yeah.
And they don't care.
Yeah.
They're still coming over for their just desserts. They don't care that you're being hurt and disappointed by essentially them using you for, and I feel like it's so confusing because, you know, you think to yourself like, well, you could pick anyone and you keep picking me.
So
to
then
come
you
over.
think,
So you must like me and you must want to be with me because out of all your roster of girls, you still
Keep
come over
coming
to
to
my
me.
house
Yeah.
every week, whether that's with flowers or whether that's with dinner or whatever
Or
it is.
lipstick.
Yeah, or yeah, fair enough. Nothing else but that. So you want to make sure that during those times that you are, whoever you're allowing into your intimate personal space is worth it.
Exactly.
Like I hear that so much from people that, you know, you want to be hopeful.
Yeah.
So you want to give someone a chance
Yeah.
just to see where it goes. Cause that leads back to potential. Like what's the difference between someone having potential and they're going to turn out to be fantastic and someone who's just a red flag? And
Exactly. Okay. So we had a conversation a couple of days ago about this. I want you to explain to them what you were sharing with me. And because I think this is profound and people need to understand this. How to determine what a red flag is. Because sometimes red flags aren't obvious. But at the same time, they are really obvious. We just don't know how to pay attention to them. And what you had said was it's the feeling you have.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go on your prelim,
what the conversation was I had read something that someone had said, sorry, I'm not gonna totally botch this, but I'm not sure if it was first date or a date.
Yeah.
To Arby's, right? So no matter what,
he took her for a date on Arby's.
He took her to a date to Arby's, and the question was posed like, is that suitable or not? So just because, like, okay, granted, I
just makes me laugh.
I don't think a first date to Arby's is
it's just not a good look. On your first date, it's not a good look.
But hey, maybe the guy likes hot roast beef sandwiches.
Then have that on your own.
Yeah,
have that on your own.
But anyways, if you decide that you are going to go on the date or decide not to, I mean, that's completely up to you. But
hey, Julia,
you're going to know, hey, girl, you're going to know when you are sitting there at the table at Arby's, whether or not that person is sharing with you things that are good to you. So yes, you could sit at the table at Arby's and he's going to tell you a bunch of things about himself and you're going to share a bunch of things. At that time, that is your opportunity to decide. He might take you to Arby's and be a loser. Like that is a possibility. And then you're like, I gave it a try and he's not for me or she wasn't for me. It's all good. But you might go to Arby's and he might blow you away.
Yeah.
He's like, sorry, I was craving this and I haven't had it in a really long time. And then he's going to be sharing all of these, you know, things about himself. And then you're going to know from that point, from the things that he is sharing about himself or she is sharing about herself, whether or not that person's for you. Like maybe he brought her to Arby's because he wanted to see if she was a gold digger, and maybe he's testing her to be like, hey, how are you going to act in these situations? I want to make sure you're a cool chick.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't think that it's only us that are evaluating whether or not we're going to talk to you again. Guys are doing the same thing by what we're sharing and how we're acting too. So that's when we go back to, you know, should you sleep with someone right away or not? They're still evaluating everything that you're sharing. You know, what you've been through, why you're single, why you think you're single, you know, why you don't want to be single. You know, all those conversations you have when you're on a date with someone and trying to get to know them.
Exactly.
And please, guys, don't ask, why are you single? It's a crazy question to be asked from someone who is single themselves. So, you know, or what happened with your last relationship? Like, well, obviously nothing good. So
don't ask anybody about their last relationship.
Yeah, don't ask anybody about their last relationship. Don't ask anybody why they're single. If they knew the answer, they wouldn't be. ask other things like, oh, like, what's your favorite thing to do on your spare time? What makes you happy?
Yeah.
What sets your soul
That's a
on
great
fire?
question, guys. What makes you happy?
Yeah, you need to know that even for yourself. I feel like oftentimes people don't know. I think that people are always so quick to be like, oh, I don't want this and I don't want that. Like what we were talking about yesterday about people always say, I'd rather be alone than be with the wrong person. But no one ever says they would rather be happy than be alone.
Interesting.
Nobody ever says that. But people always say the other thing.
It's because people don't believe that they can be happy.
Yes. I think that there is...
Especially if you've never had a really successful relationship.
Yeah.
So then you don't have any clue that there is somebody out there that better suits you.
Yeah.
That you can find genuine
It's
happiness
just like
with.
Your dream job you had, and for whatever reason you lost it, whether you got fired or the company went under or you decided to leave or whatever the case is. You're not just going to be like, well, I'm never going to work again.
Yeah.
That was the best job I ever had, and I'm just going to go on welfare now. I'm not going to work. I'm not going to do anything.
I'm done here.
I'm done here. No, you're going to bust your ass and you're going to find another job, and you're going to be hopeful about it, and you're going to know that you're going to find it.
Exactly.
So it's the same thing with falling in love. Yes, you can have a long-term relationship, short-term, whatever it is. That one person isn't the only person for you. I always share this story of a friend of mine. Her mom had 4 husbands, and she's not a hoe. She's a lovely woman. She's actually one of the most beautiful humans I've ever met.
Yeah.
But each of those people served her for that time in her life until she, met, her perfect girl boy version of herself. They're adorable together, and they've been together for like
and that was like the
20 years.
5th?
Fourth. Yeah. So, but each one had their story in her journey of life. The dash that we talk about, which is your life from the day you're born until the day, your last day.
Yep.
That in between is supposed to be lived the best.
Like
Life, Nicole has said this a long time ago, that life is not a dress rehearsal. You have one shot to make your dash the most enjoyable. Write a bucket list.
Try to make that dash the most satisfying feelings.
Yeah.
That you could, like a string of satisfying feelings is what you want to essentially do with your life. Now, things aren't going to always be perfect. Things are going to not go your way sometimes. That's fine, but it's your attitude and how you deal with it. It's how you deal with adversity. It's how you deal with challenges. It's how the story you tell yourself. Those things matter in making and living a satisfying life. Constantly seek satisfaction in your life.
A long time ago.
Do things that make you happy.
A long time ago, we realized that, when you go through shitty things in your life, on the other side of whatever is going on, when you get over that, it's like, oh my gosh, the glory in that is so beautiful. Because when we are going through things, if you just feel like, oh my gosh, like bad shit always happens to me, and like you're so low, then that kind of like does build momentum, and then before you know it, you're living a really unhappy life. So you don't want to do that.
Everything else turns to shit.
When I realized, oh my gosh, I got over that. I was like, that was so sad that time. And look, I got over that. And like, and that time and that time. And then that made me realize like, during those times of pain, I learned the most about myself. I never looked at those trials that I was going through like, oh, my life's shit. I was like, what am I learning here? Because you do realize that, unfortunately, guys, pain and pleasure
go together.
They're hand in hand.
Like peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah. And
like Nicole and champagne. Just does. They go together.
See? Yeah, pain, unfortunately, pleasure and pain are linked together. And you have to take whatever you can out of the pain so that you can enjoy the pleasure. So don't let things that don't turn out for you
Hold you back.
Yeah, hold you back. You want to have self-love, but what does that mean for you? Because everybody's self-love is different. Some people aren't going to eat grass and seeds and do yoga. Like, that's just not going to be your energy.
Yeah.
What is self-love to you? What makes you happy?
Yeah.
And then whatever that is, whatever it is that makes you happy, do that. Whether that's a job or whether that's, you know, an extracurricular activity. Maybe you love music.
A place, a person.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, whatever that is,
Yeah.
that sets your soul on fire, because that is the mood that you want to be in. You don't want to be in protection mode when you go on a date. Although you may be smiling and, you know, maybe it's going seemingly well. If you're in protection mode, they're going to sense your guard.
Exactly.
You know?
And guards up aren't that attractive.
We were talking about this a few weeks back about being kind to other people, like just showing love. Because when you show love, your guard is down. And when your guard is down, other people can see you. So, and it doesn't have to be like extensive. It's not like you're giving free hugs to strangers. It's more about just even a smile. Like, that's so easy. You could literally see it in someone's face when you smile, and you're like, their guards just like all the way down.
I've mastered, well, you know, I'm a smiler. I'm constantly, that's what I do. It's just natural to me.
Yeah.
But also, not only just the smile touch, it's also just like even watching how people's reaction to you. You know, because you're always so loving and affectionate to a complete stranger, and they're not used to it.
Definitely.
So they're always like, they don't know how to take it. Like, oh, sorry, what do you want?
Yeah.
It's like, no, nothing. I just want to be nice to you. I just want you to feel good.
Once they realize that I am just authentically being kind and nice to them, it is so beautiful.
Yeah, watching their guard just fall down.
It is a beautiful thing.
That's so cool. And could you imagine if, like, we could create that with most people, where most people would just be kind to other people for no other reason other than to just be kind?
Yeah. It you know, but it's
it
is so crazy, because it's just like what we were just talking about earlier, that no one ever says they'd rather be happy than be alone. More people are saying they don't want to be with the wrong person than, you know, being with someone.
Yeah.
You know, there is this sense of, obviously, protection mode. It's like, you know, if a younger daughter says she's going on a school trip, I'm like, okay, stay close to the teacher and don't wander off, and someone's gonna take you. It's like your mind goes to like, oh my gosh, I have to protect her, versus like, oh my gosh, you're gonna have so much fun, enjoy yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah, my mind is like, so I've recently started trying to train my mind out of thinking negatively about some outcome that you don't know anything about yet.
Yeah, so don't think the worst.
Yeah,
you have nothing to lose. You don't know.
Yeah,
you don't know.
Which goes back to what we were originally talking about. Your own opinion that you see, that you know, is you're trying to qualify that by the outcome.
Yes.
But if you went into it thinking the best thing, because no matter what, you can't see the outcome. So until that time, you should be positive, happy, and positive, and just loving and good.
Mm-hmm.
You're putting yourself out there to find someone special. You can't walk around like an asshole. Like, you can't. And
well, you can. You're just not going to get what you know what? You're just, if you walk around like an asshole, you will live a very unsatisfying life.
You will.
That's just the bottom line.
And you don't want...
For yourself, because that's the energy that you're carrying. And so if you're carrying that energy around, you're just going to keep attracting it. It's going to multiply and become bigger and bigger and bigger. And you're just, nothing.
There's a fine line between hard to get and hard to like.
Oh, God.
There's a fine line between that. So you want to make sure that your headspace is in the right place, because that's what it's all about. We always talk about that. There's no secret magic place for all the good people. They're not hiding out. They're out there to be found. And you have to match that.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
if you're in protection mode and just thinking the worst case possible scenario in the way of protecting yourself, nobody just does it for no reason. There is a reason why people are doing it. It's not because you're an asshole. It's because you want to protect yourself from the asshole. So like, I get that. But we want to put ourselves out there feeling happy and secure with who we are. What does self-love look like to us? Because it is going to look different for every single person. What sets me on fire might not set someone else on fire. And we want to make sure too, when we talk about potential, that it's not just the person on paper, because they have a really good job and they're really doing well for themselves and they travel extensively and they have a good car.
Yeah.
That isn't going to, because someone could have all of those things at a very high level and be mean to you and not treat you well and not fit you into their real life. I feel like that has to be so painful to know that, you've let someone into your home or your bedroom or your life, and you don't get to be involved in anything that they're up to from whatever their life looks like. That's not going to make you feel good.
No.
You want to be making sure that anybody that you do give the opportunity to is reciprocating. You don't want to be the giver, and the other person gets to be the taker all the time.
No.
Because that's a red flag.
Oh, fuck. Forgot the red flag.
Oh, yes.
One of these days I'm going to remember that red flag. Yeah, exactly. So let's go back to potential. Can you fall in love with someone's potential?
I think that it's never really about that. I always think it's about how the person treats you and makes you feel.
Okay, so going back to that.
We've heard, we could literally just do a show of people's experience that we've known for the last 20 years and their feedback about themselves or even others, right? What were we
Potential?
People's potential.
Yeah.
We know so many successful, wealthy women that met someone and thought they were so wonderful and gave them the world. And then by the time we met them, they were so against giving anyone a try because they gave some dirtbag the opportunity to ruin their lives, when they should have known from the beginning that they should have never. But why did they? Because that person was making them feel good. And only until that dirtbag makes you feel like shit, then you're like, oh, he wasn't good enough. He used me for everything I had, and I'm not going into that anymore. If he doesn't make 6 figures, fuck him. Like, no. Actually, you knew a long time ago he was always a piece of shit. That never changed. Yeah. What changed was the way he was making you feel. Yeah. Because it was okay before.
Stop trying to make you feel
It was
good.
okay that you're paying for all the vacations and buying him a car and letting him live with you for free and buying all the groceries and paying for expensive dinners. That was all good.
Yep.
When he was treating you good. But the second he started treating you not well, then it's like, then you want to empty this bag out of all the things you've been putting up with.
Yeah. It's
so then, yeah. So
that is so women are notorious for that. Men too are notorious for that. So I mean, I guess so going back again.
What are your thoughts?
It's just about.
It's about in love with potential.
It's about. It's not even so much about the potential. It's like what you said. It's about how is that person making you feel. And what I would encourage people to do is to, hi babe. What I would encourage people to do is to be true to yourself. Be true to yourself and how you're feeling about it. Because that's the truth right there. And when you ignore the truth, nothing good comes of it. Nothing good comes of it. So if there is that feeling in your gut that's like
not making you feel good.
Yeah, it doesn't make you feel good. Like, doesn't matter what this guy says he has or this girl says she has. I don't like the way that I feel with them.
Yeah.
There's your answer. Don't try to push it because you want to be impressive, because you want to look like you have the best guy or girl. You know what I mean? For men, it's like they'll accept all kinds of madness from a lady because she's attractive and she looks like great arm candy.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, here's my trophy looking, but she treats you like shit. She's awful to you.
Or lacks conversation, or like there's so
dumb,
many. Yeah,
like,
there's so many components to making a relationship or being interested in someone. There's so many components, because it's not just like, oh, they have a really good job, or oh, they have a good car, or oh, they're nice to me, or whatever. They like sports. Like there's so many things under the umbrella of, do you match me?
Yeah.
Are we good together? And that's through the treatment.
Yeah.
Do I long to want to be with you?
Yes.
Do I think about laying next to you?
Yes.
Do I think about future plans with you? Like all of those things.
How do you make me feel when we're together?
Yeah.
That's what you need to
And
be
how
paying
do
attention
I
to.
make you feel when we're together? Because I feel like that is the most saddest thing, when one person likes the person so much more than the other person
does.
Yeah.
But then do you not pick up on that?
No, you would, because it's
And so then you just go
shit.
you just go with it anyway, even though it's making you feel like shit.
Because you want to be hopeful.
Yeah, that's tricky, because I feel like
There's a fine line.
you don't want to not be hopeful. You don't want to
Exactly.
not be hopeful, but at the same time, you have to. You know what? It goes back to, let's go all the way over here. Let's go over here. It goes back to loving yourself from a certain level. Yeah. If you love yourself from a certain level, people that come into your life will be forced to love you from there as well. Now, in the event that they don't belong, but you will know, because you will love yourself so much that you won't allow for anybody to treat you just anyway.
But how do you know you love yourself?
By what you accept. What is it that you're accepting? Sorry.
Yeah.
Are you accepting undesirable behavior? Like, what would you, if you had a friend that told you that this girl or this guy was treating you this way, what advice would you give them?
Yeah.
Take it for yourself. Because people often have all these great things to say, but they don't take their own advice. Like,
I think that is, Nicole and I have these conversations all the time. And there are certain life things that happen to you that are very eye-opening.
yeah,
For us, becoming mothers, it's a very eye-opening experience, because when you can love someone so much more than you love yourself, it really opens your mind up. But what it did, most importantly, it gave me so much respect, and it has nothing to do with even having children.
yeah.
When you've never experienced something before, you do not have the right to speak on it as if you did. So when people go through stuff and they share...
I was notorious for that. I have to apologize to this girl all the time.
And I apologize to my other friends who've had kids before me.
Like,
when you've never gone through something before, you don't know. What you think you might do if you were in that situation and what you actually are going to do in that situation are nothing of the same. So it is very important. And this was in one of our latest blogs that we did. You can check that out on our website. We spoke about who you're going to let in, how they're making you feel, and knowing if you are going through something and you are sharing to people, because like when you go through things, you want to vent, like you want to share it, especially ladies. Guys, you don't really have an open forum. If you do want to talk, please reach out to us. We're here for you.
yes.
We don't have the answers.
Not all
You
of them.
have the answers. We are here to discuss. We're here to help you discuss whatever it is that you're going through so that you can have your best result of what you think is suitable for you. So when you are venting or sharing, please make sure that you're sharing with somebody that gives good advice. They really do care and love you. They're not a hater. And you trust them, and they've gone through some stuff.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes when we go through things, we just kind of lay it all out to whoever's going to listen because it's painful to keep it in.
Yes.
But if those people that you're sharing it with have no experience of whatever it is that you're going through, what could their advice be to you? You know,
Well,
like
it's limited.
Yeah, like
It's limited.
oh,
and-
you deserve to be treated like a princess. Like fuck her. Like no, maybe I don't want to get rid of the person. Maybe that's not my answer.
Yeah.
You know, maybe we're just going through stuff.
something.
But there is such a fine line between, are we just going through something, or are we not meant to be? And I feel like there's so much gray area there in that thin line of, are we just going through something, or are we not meant to be? You know, we talked with Lori last week about that on the lives of like, you know, she's going through it with, you know, someone that she's involved with. And it's like, well, do I break up with him, or do I work
keep
through
giving
this?
it a chance. Keep giving it a try.
And only you have the answer for that. Even if people think they have the answer for you, no one takes anyone else's advice. Everyone has to learn the hard way. And you're going to do what you want to do. Whatever's making you feel good inside, you're going to do that. So if someone's like, oh, break up with them, maybe that's not your truth. Maybe you don't. Maybe you will. But when you're ready to do that, and only when you're ready to do that, everybody you know could be like, oh my gosh, that guy's a piece of shit, or she's a bitch, she's just using you. And you're like, no, I want to keep going with it.
Exactly.
And you will. Like you will.
But you're going to listen to yourself before you listen to anybody else anyway.
Exactly.
People can give you all kinds of good advice, but you're just going to go with what
We've
you want.
known people that were so in love with the wrong person that they had to keep the person a secret from everyone they knew, because everyone that knew them knew they weren't good for one another except them.
Yeah, that sucks.
So, I mean,
That
everybody has to go through it at their own time, at their own pace, and work through coupling and dating and putting yourself out there in the most beautiful, authentic, real way to yourself.
Yeah.
And not through...
More importantly, to yourself.
Yeah.
How you treat yourself will be the standard on how other people treat you. What you allow is what you will get.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to stand up for yourself, because if you don't stand up for yourself, nobody else will.
You have to be your own best advocate.
Yeah, you have to like do what's best for you.
Yeah.
Always.
I feel like it's so easy for people to like, oh, I know what I don't want. It's like, okay, but what do you want?
Yeah, tell me. But you know what? It's so hard for people to say that. They could tell me that's one of the questions we asked during an interview when we were deciding whether or not we're going to take this client on is, you know, name some things about yourself, or like, what is it that you're looking for? And then what happens oftentimes, it's a struggle. It's like, okay, and then they also a lot of the time will mention things like material things. Like, I'm looking for someone that has this time card, I'm looking for somebody that has this, that has this education, da-da-da. None of those things are going to determine whether this person whether you're going to be capable of falling in love with that person.
Yeah.
Not his stuff and not her stuff. That doesn't matter, but people have a really hard time coming up with what it is they want. They can tell us very quickly what they don't want, but they don't really, I don't think that they 100% know what they want.
Yeah.
And that's dangerous. You need to know.
Yeah, I
what
feel
you
like,
want.
to just also be you and be happy in your authenticity of who you are.
Yeah.
You know, like what sets your soul on fire, and to be happy when you're putting yourself out there, which I understand how difficult that is when you are feeling down about not being with someone special, because over time it is saddening. I see, you know,
over time, it's like you don't want it to be too long. You don't want to be single for too long, because you start to become very, like, your mindset becomes single. And
but it's
really
also
hard
painful.
for you. Yeah.
It's painful.
Yeah.
To be lonely is painful. So, you know, when people always say to us when they're like, oh, what do you do? And then we're like, oh, we're matchmakers. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Have fun. It's like, No,
Mm-mm.
I wouldn't say cool, and I wouldn't say fun. I would definitely say rewarding.
Absolutely gratifying
And,
in the sense that we create families.
And
So
okay, but
that's
then before that, because that is the ultimate goal, is obviously, you know, forever and ever and happily ever after. And we really want to create heaven on earth for people, and we create matches made in heaven. So that is a huge, big deal for us of really seeing the end result turn out fantastic. But let's rewind that all the way from the start.
Yeah.
People come to us at a time in their lives that is very low.
Yeah.
You're lonely and sad and hopeful and determined to find someone. So to go through the process with someone and be there for them when things aren't going the best for them, that part really is why we do it. Yes, we love matchmaking and people falling in love, and that's so good, but we have little to do with that. It's really up to the two people. It's actually up to the two people to make each other like one another. We don't have control over that. Nobody does.
Yeah.
And however good I think someone is, that other person has to think that they're just as good as what I think or what she thinks or our other team of people or whoever. Those two coupling have to make it work together. We don't have control over that.
No.
But what we do have control over is being there for you.
Yes.
When things are going.
When the rubber hits the road.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's a journey.
And especially for guys, like you guys don't really have, like us girls will just blab to anybody, coworker.
It's true.
Person that we met on the street.
I mean, not for me, but for other people.
Definitely.
That's true.
So yes, women are a little bit more forthcoming than guys. You're not going to go with your buddy and be like, oh my gosh, I cried all last night. You'd be like, oh my gosh, what the fuck for? Have another beer. Like men don't know how to necessarily support them. So even for guys to have us to be like, hey, what do you think about this? Or is this a good idea? Or, you know, is she not going to like that? I'm going to bring her to a hotel tonight on our third date or whatever it is. There's thousands of questions. Just to us to be a sounding board for people to be like, hey, is this a good do or don't? Whatever that is. That part of being there for someone through the journey of falling in love is pretty cool.
Exactly. No, it's genius, if I must say so myself.
Fair enough.
It just makes the ride easier for people.
Yeah.
And you know, it's our pleasure because
it's interesting, you know, people have such an ego when it comes to asking for help when it comes to love.
To talk about ego.
Yeah, because you know, that's another thing when we talk about loving ourselves, self-love, it's not from an ego base, it's from a soul base.
Now, that is okay, we're saying this very flippantly, but it is very difficult to operate outside of your ego. It is very difficult to operate outside of your ego. And the biggest challenge is that if you do really want, if you do really want to have a successful relationship, you have to learn to operate outside of your ego. Your ego will have you standing still and not doing shit.
In the way of protecting yourself, like it is there to, you know, breed some confidence, breed some protection from the, you know, wrong suitors and like all of that. But in the end,
whereas technically not. I'm separated and Natasha is married.
Who's asking?
I don't know. So,
hey.
The man 71.
So I think that out of the ego and into the soul is like where the place is that you need to be. And we can help kind of sort all that out and put things into perspective. We always say we're here for you. We understand what it is to be a single dater, as you know, that's our expertise.
Yeah.
We've been matchmakers our whole grown adult life. And we know what it is to take the step to ask for help. So we always make fun about that. Like people can do their own hair, but they go to the salon.
Yeah.
Why? Because they do it better. And
I could probably do my own nails, but why would I do that?
Same.
When somebody else could do my nails.
They do it better.
Yeah.
I suck at painting my own nails. I would never know how to use the cuticle thingy. And yeah, it's like nice and it's relaxing and it's far more enjoyable than me doing it myself and like mucking up my nails and like all of that. But nobody's ever going to be like, oh my gosh, you pay for someone to do your nails? Like, oh. No, they'd be like, oh my gosh, your nails look so good.
Who did that?
Where'd you go?
Who did
Like,
yeah.
people are on that. But when it comes to love, it's like, oh, I'm not paying for that. Like, why not? To have somebody do the searching for you, take all the work out of it, and all you have to do is show up, smell good, and be nice. Like, why wouldn't you want to take the time to do that? I mean, I think that it's such a fantastic tool.
Yeah.
And if you're serious about finding someone special, we'd love to help you. So give us a call, even if,
just to even, talk you through and unpack the mess sometimes that we make of our own life.
Yeah, absolutely. In the way of protecting. Like, I feel like it's
It'd
always
be your
about
own heart that stands in the way. Can you imagine?
And you don't want to do
It'd
that.
be your own damn heart that stands in the way, that holds you back. Yeah, like that's, it's imperative that you figure that out.
Absolutely.
It is.
Do we have a few?
Hi.
Hey, honey. We have a few moments left. Did you say you had some questions you want to talk about?
Yeah, oh gosh. We're probably going to have to move these on to next week because there's a bunch of them I want to talk about.
Yes.
And we didn't get a chance to get into any sexy time. We're going to do that next week, I promise. But I do want to ask.
Stay tuned.
Yes. We're going to, let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. No, but for real, let's talk about next week.
Yeah.
I want to talk about like the truth of what women really want in the bedroom. Because I think there's so many, and there's a difference between what a young girl wants and what a 40-something-year-old woman wants. You know what I'm saying? There's like a difference. But like we'll definitely talk about that because it's totally worth talking about. Hold on. Okay, Tash, let me ask you this question right
Okay, hit me.
So I'm trying to find a really good one. Name one thing that a single person should do in their single season.
Find out all the things that really make them happy.
Yeah. How do you do that?
Well, you kind of already know, and if you don't, then you want to discover that.
Yeah, you want to.
So, like, yeah, if maybe I don't know, maybe you've always wanted to paint, and then you could take that on, or you always wanted to learn how to salsa dance, and like those things that you can get involved in that are going to make you feel good about yourself.
Yes.
I feel like will make you happy, right? So, like, you really wanted to
find your joy.
Yeah, you always wanted to be on a softball team, and it's co-ed, so you can meet some friends or the opposite sex. Like, just putting yourself out there. I hate when I hear people be like, oh, well, you should be more outgoing. Well, if that person's not outgoing, they can't just wake up tomorrow and be like, you know what? That person said one of their tips was I should be more outgoing. Like, you're not just gonna wake up tomorrow and be outgoing.
Yeah. If you're an
introverted person.
Yeah.
Not a lot of women may be confident enough to go up to a guy and be like, hey, maybe that's not your style. So that's also another thing too. Find out who you are as a dater so that you can kind of figure out what works for you and what doesn't, some pros and cons. Yeah. But I feel the one thing you should do in your single season is learn what happiness means to you. Because a happy you is going to be the best you, and that's so radiant when you're a happy you, and then you will see different people come around you. Your guard's down, you're happy, and you're feeling full, and then people are going to look at you in a different way when you are happy.
Exactly, 100,000%.
That is my answer to the question.
True story. Okay, last question.
Yes.
We're out of here. Do you believe that all men cheat?
No.
Me neither.
I don't.
Me neither.
I don't ever want to believe that, just for my own sanity. And no, I don't. I know a lot of amazing men that are faithful to their significant other. So no, I don't believe that. I will
All
never
men
believe
don't
that.
cheat.
Yeah, I will always believe in true love, no matter what.
Yeah, 100,000%. Agree. Okay. I'm gonna save these questions for next week because
Yes, we're out of time now, but we
we
look forward to next Thursday, and we'll see you at 2 p.m. Thanks for joining.
Whoops.